Hello, dear students. Welcome to I-Fal. My name is Teacher Nikki, and I am here to have another video lesson with you. So I am so excited to talk about a new topic for you today that will help you understand and construct better sentences using the English language. I know that these lessons will be very helpful for you to communicate using the English language that are grammatically correct and properly constructed, considering that we will be talking about some grammar topics. So I want you to concentrate on our lesson today, pay attention to our sample sentences, and please practice them very well even after the class. So let's go ahead and start our lesson. Let's go. So for our lesson here, we will be talking about the superlative adverbs, okay? Just like what we talked about from the previous lesson, we have the comparative. Of course, we have the superlative. So just like your adjectives, okay, your adverbs also have superlative forms. So let's take a look at how we use and how we make our superlative adverbs. Now, what is a superlative adverb? So, superlative adverbs, just like your adjectives, are used to describe differences among three or more people or things. But while superlative adjectives describe the highest degree of an attribute among multiple nouns, now superlative adverbs describe, of course, the action of a person. So remember, our adverbs always talk about your actions. So therefore, superlative describes the degree of the action. Now, for example, here, John is the fastest runner of the group. So this is an example of superlative adjective, okay? Fastest runner. So because it describes a noun. John runs the fastest of the group. Now, here, this is a superlative adverb just because we are talking about the fastest of the group, the runs the fastest. So, the fastest here describes your verb run. Okay? And out of all the students in the class, Sally is the most careful with her work. This is a superlative adjective. Out of all the students in the class, Sally works most carefully. And therefore, this is a superlative adverb. Okay? Now, superlative adverbs and superlative adjectives sometimes have the same form. Okay? They may have the same form, most especially if we are talking about the adjectives or the adverbs that do not change their form at all. Okay? However, even when the forms are the same, we can tell the difference between the two by looking at what they modify. So remember, although they might be the same in form, your adjectives and your adverbs, you have to take a look at the word that they modify, if it's a noun or a pronoun. Therefore, it is an adjective. Now, if it modifies a verb, an adverb, or an adjective, therefore, that is an adverb. Okay? Now, moving forward, let's see on how we form superlative adverbs. Okay? Now, for the first rule, one syllable adverb, you just add est. Okay? So when it is one syllable, you just add est after the adverb. Okay? Example, fast, fastest, hard, hardest, high, highest, late, latest, long, longest, low, lowest, and then wide, widest. So as you can see, remember these are adverbs. They can be adjectives because they do not change spelling anyways. But as you can see, we just add est with these adverbs here to form their superlative. Now, spelling note, when the adverb already ends with letter E, okay, when the last letter of your adverb is E, therefore you just add ST and not EST. Okay? So I hope that's clear. Now, we also have your ly adverbs. So many adverbs formed by adding ly at the end of your adjective. So if an adverb has been created according to this pattern, so you have to add the word most or least, okay, to make the superlative form. Okay, look at that. Careful, your adjective, then carefully becomes your adverb. Now you make the superlative form, you add most, okay? Or least. Most carefully, least carefully. Efficiently, most efficiently, least efficiently. All right? And you can see some of those examples here more on this part, okay? Now, this is for the adverbs with ly. So add most or least. Okay, moving forward, we also have your irregular superlative adverbs. Okay, so irregular, of course, these are some exceptions to the rules we've just looked at. So remember, they change the spelling. Just like your adjective, some of them, okay, also change spelling when you are making their superlative form. Example, badly, worst, early, earliest, far, farthest or furthest, little, least, well, and best. Okay? So take note. So we also have superlative adverbs with two forms. What does that mean? There are a few adverbs that have two generally accepted forms. So it means either of these forms can be used in the communication skills or you're communicating in English. They're also known, have two commonly used superlative forms. So some of the most prevalent of these exceptions are example, cheap, cheaply, cheapest, or most, least cheaply. Okay, so we also have loudly, so then you can use loudest or most or least loudly. Okay, now we also have quick or quickly, quickest, most or least quickly, slow or slowly. We can also use slowest or most or least slowly. So again, either of these forms are accepted in the English language. All right? Now, using superlative adverbs. Now, we usually use superlative adverbs when describing an action of someone among a group of several others. So, we focus on the action. Remember that. Okay, superlative adverbs come after the verb in a sentence. So your superlative adverb should be after your verb. Okay? For example, cars and motorcycles can go fast, but an airplane moves the fastest. So now we're comparing about the action of car, motorcycles, and airplanes. As you can see here, airplane moves the fastest. Okay, next, I eat the most neatly among my siblings. So the action of eating, okay, eating neatly. She works the least carefully in her class. So as you can see, your superlative adverbs here come after your verbs. All right? Okay, next one. So omitting the group of comparison. When we use superlatives, it is very common to omit or to remove the group that something or someone is being compared to because that group is implied by a previous sentence. So it only means that you don't have to mention the group of comparison when it was already mentioned or implied from a previous sentence. Example, my brothers are all fast swimmers. John swims the fastest though. Okay, so we do not put the group of comparison, just like John swims the fastest of all. the brothers or my brothers. Okay, we omitted that just because we already mentioned about the group of comparison. Okay? We can also identify the superlative attribute of a subject's action compared to itself in other contexts or points in time. Okay, in this case, we do not have another group to identify. So when you are just talking about a comparison about yourself, maybe from time or different time period, then we can also remove the group of comparison. Like, for example, I work best by myself. So you compare it yourself, okay? So the engine runs most smoothly after it was warmed up for a while. So you're just comparing the engine to itself, all right? And the other examples here. So now, expressing the lowest degree, okay? Now, this is just the opposite of most, okay? Now, we've seen ly adverbs can either take most or least to indicate the highest and the lowest degrees of comparison, okay? So, we just use least to talk about the lowest degree. So, irregular adverbs, on the other hand, have only one superlative form, okay, that expresses the highest degree of its characteristic. So if it's an irregular adverb, then it only has like the highest degree of its characteristic. But when we want to express the lowest quality of an irregular adverb, we could technically just use the word lists, okay, before its basic form. So we will get basic form and then the list. Example: John runs the fastest in his class, but he swims the least fast. Okay, you can see there least fast. Okay, so we use least plus the base form of your adverb fast. Okay, however, this construction is rather awkward. It's not really very comfortable or common to use or sound, okay? And it's best just to use another superlative adverb with the opposite meaning. So, in short, if you want to use an adverb expressing lowest degree, it's better to use an opposite meaning. So, John runs the fastest in the class or in his class, but he swims the slowest rather than the least fast. Okay? So that's just how we use our superlative adverbs. Okay? So I hope you find our lesson today very helpful. So as I always say, the secret in making your communication skills in English better is constant practice. So I want you to please keep on practicing all the lessons that we've had in the past and even this present lesson. So I know that you can do it really well and you'll improve yourself eventually. So just keep believing in yourself and practice more, okay? Now, please stay tuned to our more lessons here in I-Fal, and please visit our website that I will flash on the next screen. I also encourage you to please subscribe to our classes because we have a lot of amazing teachers that will help you and guide you in improving your English skills. So once again, this is Teacher Nikki. So I'll just see you again on the next classes and video lessons that we're going to have. I know that we will have more amazing lessons in the future. So stay tuned and good luck. Study harder and I'll see you next time. Bye.